What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to talk about Michel Therrien being named head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. Obviously, the lasting image for Therrien in Montreal is the Canadiens blowing the series against Carolina 10 years ago, 2002. Obviously, Carolina going on to the Stanley Cup Finals that year. It's one of those things I don't know what to make of it. I like it in the regard that they're going to be breaking in a lot of young players, and they're a rebuilding team right now. And, they got a top 3 pick, probably going to be Mikhail Grigorenko, who needs a hard-nosed coach. He's got spells of lackadaisicalness, and, the intensity level isn't there. I think Therrien will get that out of him. And, I think he'll get Subban in line. I think he'll definitely help with, LeBlanc and Patrick. I mean, Pacioretty's already, I think, established himself as a perennial 30-goal scorer in the NHL. Even after the 130-goal season, I think he's going to be great for years to come. I think he's the one I'm not worried about the rest of them that are question marks. But, Louis LeBlanc and another plethora of young players coming through the system. I think he's going to be a good hard-nosed coach for those young players to mold them into quality National Hockey League players in the same regard that he molded, Crosby, Malkin in Pittsburgh. And going back to Pittsburgh, I know him and Crosby weren't getting along at the end. That's kind of the reason he got fired. But I think after a while, his act runs out. I think once Montreal reestablishes themselves as legitimate contenders, he has to be shown the door, because I think he's one of those guys that's good on a rebuilding interim basis. But when you get a team that's ready to compete, the hard-nosed stuff just doesn't work. It's kind of, make of it what you want. But they would not have won the Cup that year with him in 2009. They had to bring in Bilesma because it takes one approach to handle players when they're developing. It takes another to handle players when they're established. Kind of like Ken Hitchcock can't handle developmental players. He's got to have an established roster ready to go. And I think Therrien's the opposite. And the French Canadian thing, I guess that's kind of a good thing with the whole Cunninworth thing. I'm sure it was an embarrassment to real Habs fans who care more about winning than about the language of their head coach. But, it's one of the things I think it'll help the team. I think the French thing is obviously a big thing culturally. But like I said, once the team reestablishes themselves as a contender, they got to go out and get a coach that can win Stanley Cups. Because maybe Therrien's changed, but obviously his last stint to Montreal wasn't great. We all know that. He got fired the year after, blowing the series to Carolina. But we'll see. Time will tell. He hasn't coached in the NHL in 3 years after getting fired by Pittsburgh. And the one thing when he had the breakdown in 2005 when the Penguins were atrocious. That's a wake-up call for a young team, and I think if he shows that on a consistent basis, they'll be all right. But we'll see how it all works out. I think I don't want to say he got the short end of the stick in Pittsburgh, but I think his act got old with the players, the whole hard-nosed stuff. So we'll see how it all works out. I think he's a pretty good fit for Montreal at this moment, but I think down the line, if you look at with that organization, they let Guy Boucher get away. That's, but I think Guy Boucher would have been a perfect coach there. Guy Boucher would be a perfect coach anywhere. But we'll see how it all works out. That's all I got this episode of the Power Play with CJ on the Montreal Canadiens, naming Michel Therrien head coach. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the finals and beyond. Later, guys.